this past year, I had the privilege to travel to a variety of different locations, and I encountered some really interesting wildlife there. So, with 2018 coming to a close, I thought it might be a good idea to look back. Here's this past year in review from a wildlife filmmaker's perspective. Of course, I had plenty of birds to film this year, giving me something to spy on with my camera. In fact, the more I think about it, the more wildlife filmmaking creeps me out a little bit. Imagine you were a bird, peacefully minding your own business. Then a man appears. He doesn't move, he just stands there. Every now and then he fiddles with an odd item, creating eerie clicking noises and bright flashes of eldritch light. Eventually, he packs up and leaves. Under human terms, we would call that stalking, but since it's animals, it's wildlife photography or film. I'm just saying, double standard. Alright, moving on. Since they often stick to the underbrush, mammals were a little bit more difficult to spot, but I still encountered some cute groundhogs, squirrels, and deer. In general, mammals are the quote-unquote cutest of the animals I encountered, probably because they're the most similar to us, so our brains are hardwired to think of them as babies. That becomes a little bit more difficult with reptiles and amphibians, with their slick and scaly exteriors. But they're still pretty in their own right. To be fair, these reptiles and amphibians probably see us mammals as absolutely disgusting, just coyote ugly. Moving down the food chain, we encounter the many invertebrates that inhabit this planet. Now, I know a lot of you are grossed out by them, but as many viewers of this podcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it, will know, I am a big fan of invertebrates. I see them as living armor. They just look really cool, is what I'm trying to say. But they're also really important. Invertebrates like these bees help pollinate a lot of our crops. Attracted by the bright colors and promise of pollen to eat, they take the pollen from plant to plant. If it helps at all, just think of insects as tinder for plants. Just as colorful were the many types of fungi I encountered, from this striking orange spore-forming organism harassing my Bradford pear, to the many molds that were starting to grow in my fridge. It's gross and somewhat fascinating at the same time. Following that same vein of gross yet fascinating were the many microbes I ran into this past year. From these cute water bears walking across some moss-covered rocks in my backyard, this microscopic moss-dwelling earthworm relative, to these cute, aquatic, caterpillar-looking creatures. What could these innocent-looking creatures be? Oh god, they're mosquitoes. Lots and lots of baby mosquitoes. Gross but cool? Which keeps with the theme of this video. There's a lot more I could show you, but this is running a bit long for an internet video. So how about I just hint at some of the content I'll be putting out this upcoming year, showcasing animals from around the DC area, around the country, and even across the globe. I promise it'll be at least moderately entertaining to watch. For now, that's all for this year. If you want to check out more of my work in the meantime, check out the links below to my rebranded social media. I'm sorry for changing the names, but I'm doing a bit of rebranding. I have to make that paper so I can pay off those college loans. In that same vein, keep an eye out for some future sales of my photos and stock footage. Coming soon. Sorry, that sounded kinda creepy. Anyways, for now, I hope everyone has a happy new year, and I'll see you in 2019.